Okay, good evening, all. And again, we have started a new journey for commemorating the 75 years of independence. And this is a part of Amrit Ka Mahotsav, which has been launched on 12/3 to 2021 by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Before starting the session, I'm just recalling Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore and his lines, "Where the mind is without fear." Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into the fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the ready desert sand of dead habits, where the mind is laid forward by thee into ever widening thought and action. Into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. Yes, this was the dream of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore and of course all of us, that into that heaven of freedom, let my country awake. So now we are in the process, we are in the phase of 75. We are going to that covered 75 years, long years of independence. So without wasting any more time, we have our speaker today, Dr. Abhishek Karmakar. He is assistant professor of Kolshi Mahavidyalaya. Apart from this thing, he was very much active in the political science domain. So, without wasting any more time, I would like to request Dr. Karmakar, please. The dais is yours now, and he is going to speak on the journey, the glorious years, 75 years of the independence. Please, Dr. Karmakar, you are most welcome to the dais.
Okay. Thank you for your humble introduction, Dr. Chakraborty. And thank you very much for inviting me. And actually, this is not my first time that I am talking in this platform, actually in the platform of National Service Stream as conducted by you and your college. And this is the third time, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And really thank you. And I can see some of my students and some of the students of Bangabasi College also, whom I can recognize here. And thank you to the Honorable Principal, who is the chief patron of this program, Dr. Amitabh Dotto, and Dr. Tulika Chakraborty, once again being the convener of this session. So today, as a part of India's glorious journey of these 75 years, I am going to talk on. Let me have a minute. I will share the screen with you all. Wait a minute. Please let me know if it is shown on your
Screen or not? Yes.
Is it showing?
Yes,
Is it showing?
Yes, it's showing. It's presenting now. You are presenting now.
Okay. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
And
Make
I'm
it
clearly visible and audible.
You are clearly visible and audible as well.
Okay. Thank you. So, India and its journey of 75 years of independence is a part of the lecture of India's glorious 75 years Amrit Mahotsav. So, as the title shows, that its journey, actually none of the journeys have ever been that always smooth. Journeys are always both in so many occasions as excuse me, I have a issue. Excuse me. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, of course. You are audible.
Excuse me. Let me. Okay. Is it showing? Is the screen showing?
Yes, yes. So,
Okay. Waiting. Okay. So before starting, I'd like to give a very small introduction about India. Actually, most of you actually know this, but we reintroduce India again to you, because without introducing this, I cannot present whatever I am going to say in the following slides. So, as you all know, the name India is derived from the river Indus. The Aryan worshippers referred to the river Indus as the Sindhu. You all know that. And India, the most important identity of India in today's world is that it is the largest democracy and seventh largest country in the world. And at the same time, it is the ancient civilization. It is one of the most ancient civilizations. And it possesses a rich cultural heritage. And as you all know, in terms of religion, language, race, caste, and everything, it is a unity in diversity. Apart from that, you all know that India is a secular country, and it always follows the policy of accommodation, social inclusion, etc., etc. So India is also known for its liberal policies towards domestic politics, at the same time towards world affairs, and world's first in terms of its rich cultural heritage. That you will get astonished that world's first university was established in Tokushima in 700 BC, before Christ, and more than 10,500 students from all over the world, at least 60 subjects were taught there. And Nalanda is also known for its ancient culture, and in the field of education as well. Ayurveda, astronomy, algebra, trigonometry, calculus, so many such achievements India have gained throughout the history, and like place value system, the decimal system, all these before actually 100 years of before Christ, India got that. So India as a country, it is bearing a rich cultural heritage and one of the most ancient civilizations, as you all know. But since 1950s, when India started its journey with a democratic constitution, and to now, that is 2021, how was the journey? How would you discuss, or how would you describe India's journey, whether it is a successful democracy, or what are the main impediments, what are the main hurdles India has to has had actually faced? So these are the main issues I'm going to focus. So that cultural heritage, that what about what I was talking, it lost its position due to back-to-back foreign invasion. So many foreign invaders were there. India's position, rich culture, economic prosperity, and glory had been affected. At the same time, eroded through back-to-back foreign invaders, namely Shok, Hun, Pathan, Mongols, and Western colonizers. You know that authoritarian colonial rule of British rule, French rule, some provinces and Dutch rule, and Portuguese in Goa, and other provinces, some other provinces as well. So what happened in 1947? India emerged as a sovereign nation in 1947, and it followed what? It followed the legacy of hereditary monarchy and authoritarian colonial rule. And this is the main reason. These are the main reason why India is facing so many hurdles, so many problems in these 75 years. That hereditary monarchy, and due to that hereditary monarchy of long term, at the same time authoritarian colonial rule. Actually, it was the authoritarian colonial rule that affected much. So 75 years of India, the initial years. Let me discuss that what happened in these initial years when the British were going and India was becoming the sovereign country and an independent sovereign entity, the major challenges to the national leaders during that time, during the initial years, that is from just after the transfer of power from British government to India. It was the initial years which was the most important year, and till today we are hearing that legacy. Nation building, actually the first issue was to the national leaders that it was the issue of nation building, and they wanted to build the nation on the values of nationalism, secularism, and democracy. Nationalism, secularism, that is secularism, that is religion, equality, equal religious rights to all the sects, all the religious communities, and democracy, on the ideals of democracy and values of democracy. That's what India got from the British legacy. That is Western. Actually, in ancient India, the democracy's root was very deep. It was a sound and deep root was there in ancient India. But democratic culture was also there. But the Westminster model of democracy, that is parliamentary democracy, it was the accidents of British government and the authoritarian colonial rule under the British regime. However, India started with a journey with a constitution which was democratic, and on the basis of that democratic norm, India has already passed 7 decades. With so many shortcomings are there, so many loopholes are there. I am going to discuss all about that. But India, as a democracy, we can claim that we are not failure, and democracy what so many scholars were expecting that it will face an imminent demise. But India, as a democracy, survived, and the resilience of India's democracy is remarkable, I must say. Apart from that, immense expectations from the national leaders of the common people. So the immense in terms of education, in terms of clothing, food, unemployment, and all the problems India was facing in initial years, and immense. It was the major issue to the national leaders, that the immense they had to meet the immense expectation of the common people. Apart from that, the colonial legacy of economic underdevelopment, it was another very important issue. Colonial legacy of economic underdevelopment as well as acute poverty, gross poverty all over the society. It was really one of the major issues that our national leaders faced in the initial years. Apart from that, prevalent illiteracy, only 25% of male and 7.9, noted, in 1951, only 7.9% female were educated, well literate. So, prevalent illiteracy was among one of the most important most dangerous problem that the national leaders have to cope up with. Start socio-cultural inequality and prevailing injustice all over the society. Actually, it was a society where individual didn't have any space, any autonomous space. Individual had to face so many problems. No individuation of society, no secularization of society, no industrialization, no education level of education. Nothing happened. It was a society which was totally under the gigantic pressure of social and community-based issues like caste, like religion, so many community-based issues where individual didn't have any autonomous space. So it was the society where socio-cultural inequality was prevalent. At the same time, injustice was prevalent. Unemployment and superstitions, these are the so many among so many issues. Lack of political consciousness, it is the most dangerous issue at the same time, problem or hurdle that the national leaders had to cope up with. Actually, lack of political consciousness was the main impediment against the success of democracy, against the success of our constitution, against the success of whatever our national leaders thought at that time. So lack of political consciousness, and acute gender discrimination, atrocities against women, all. So in this slide, whatever I have said, that the major issues in the initial years that our national leaders had to face, and they had a big major role to overcome such issues. And since then, they had actually another two major challenges of nation building in 1950s. The first one is to build a democratic and civil libertarian society among an illiterate and politically unconscious people. About what I was saying, that the main debate was between democracy versus rice bowl theory. What was the debate? Democracy is an ideal, is a form of government. You all know that where the common people has a controlling power over the government, and to an illiterate subject, to a politically unconscious people, democracy does democracy bear any importance? Actually, rice bowl theory was what that rice bowl and মানে খাদ্য বস্ত্র quote unquote খাদ্য বস্ত্র and বাসস্থান, food, clothing and all center. These were the main issue. খাদ্য বস্ত্র বাসস্থান, food, shelter and clothing. These were the main issues, main need of the common people, of unemployed people, poverty. I have already said that actual poverty was there. So democracy as an ideal didn't play much to the common people. Democracy was a form of government only to them, so they didn't bother at all about whatever the ideal of democracy is. To them, rice bowl was not important. So it was the most dangerous challenge to the nation builders, to the national leaders who were there in the initial years. And to convert the society from that condition to a politically conscious one was the major challenge. Apart from that, another important challenge was economic underdevelopment. So they had to take policies. They had to take so many policies so that the economic development can be materialized within a democratic political structure, which was riddled with huge diversity in terms of religion, diversity in terms of race, in terms of caste, in terms of diversity in terms of so many languages, etc., etc. And socio-cultural cleavages are there, and lack of democratic political culture. So two major challenges was there: to build a democratic and civil libertarian society in that in India in that time, and number two is to take rapid economic development, to take initiatives for rapid economic development in a highly diverse society, which was not so easy. And India's emergence of democracy in India's emergence as a democratic country in 1950. The historical inauguration of democracy in a traditional society like India, and its remarkable resilience, despite being riddled with so many number of anomalies or peculiarities. It's actually the journey of India's democracy is incredible, and its relative success since 1950s. And in today, that is 2021, we have already passed 7 decades of India's democracy. And in these 7 decades, we have already faced so many anomalies. Apart from all these anomalies, despite of these peculiarities, whatever I have said, like illiteracy, lack of political consciousness, lack of autonomous space to the individuals, lack of secularization of society, lack of individuation of society, lack of bureaucratic culture, lack of industrialization, all lacunas were there. But still, India's democracy faced incredible success, which is so many anomalies are there also, and still today so many shortcomings are there still today. But India's democracy is still surviving. I have mentioned about liberal school and Marxian school. Both the school, actually the liberal school was led by Tocquevillian thought, and the Marxian school is of course led by Marxian thought. And thinkers and scholars from both schools, from liberal school as well as Marxian school, both predicted that India's democracy is going to demise.
India's democracy will not be a very sustained one. India's democracy will fall in imminent years, in coming years, because India did not possess any of the preconditions. Any of the preconditions for the successful journey of democracy. And this is most important. What are those preconditions? What were those preconditions? Let's see, some of the scholars were saying that India's democracy is a puzzle. According to some, like Sudipto Kobiraj, he said that India's democracy is a historical scandal. And thinkers like Nitija Gopal Joyal and Ashish Nondi, Sudipto Kobiraj, they sometimes claim that India's democracy is a peculiar democracy. And there are reasons also why they are calling it like that. I have already said that liberal schools led by Tocquevillian thought and Marxian school led by Marxian thought, both schools predicted and anticipated that India's democracy is not going to sustain, is not going to be a stable one. India's democracy will face an imminent demise. It will fall very soon. But to the surprise of many, India's democracy is still surviving. It is still resilient. What are those peculiarities? The main peculiarities, let me say that the first one is the presence of strong bureaucratic state. The second one is capitalist mode of production, secularization of society, relative economic prosperity, industrial revolution, and growth of literacy among the people. All these were the anomalies. Nothing, let me tell you that it is very interesting to note that none of these preconditions was possessed by India when it started its journey with a democratic constitution during the initial years of British withdrawal in 1947. So let me repeat again. These are the basic preconditions that are worldwide accepted, worldwidely accepted. All accepted these are the basic preconditions, basic criteria for a successful journey of a democracy, for the successful running, functioning of a democratic polity. Like what? The presence of strong bureaucratic state, capitalist mode of production, secularization of society, relative or economic prosperity, industrial revolution, all these. But to the very surprise of many scholars and many professionals, that despite being despite having not having these preconditions, despite lacking all these preconditions, India's democracy is still surviving even after 75 years. And what is this all about? 75 years journey, India's unity, all accepting all immense regional, linguistic, religious, ethnic diversity. And in these 75 years, India have already taken so many accommodative policies, accommodative public policies, policies for the alleviation of poverty, alleviation of the problem of unemployment, and all. Integrated economic development, and to cope up with asymmetric relationship and relations among the various states and economic disparities among the states. You all know that there are so many states which are too much rich, and they are distinctly ahead of other states, especially the states of Northeast and the states of East as well. But there are so many states which are already distinctly ahead. So economic disparity, asymmetric relations among the states are there. So this is another major issue that Indian nation is riddled with since independence. So in the initial years, what we have seen, that planned economy, like 5 years planning under the in Nehruvian period, mixed economy under the leadership of Nehru. All this happened. And then in the consolidation year, at the same time, how did the resilience happen? Several social, cultural, economic policies started from starting from Goripi Hatao of Indira Gandhi in 1971, or somewhere in 1972 maybe, and then to Atmanirbhar Bharat by Modi government. Innumerable public policies have already started, and also the states have also initiated so many public policies for this to cope up with this problem of unemployment, problem of poverty, all the problems I have already said in the previous slides. Several constitutional amendments to cope up with the changing socio-cultural, political, and economic scenario have also been done. Constitution in the changed scenario have been amended time to time in regular intervals, periodical intervals, and accommodative social policies fighting against all social exclusions in terms of gender, caste, and religion. So these were the phase of this was the phase of accommodation. And now, as a part of today's lecture, that Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years, what India have achieved, where we are still standing, how would you judge, or how would you rate India's achievements in these 75 years? Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. What is this? And if you are to rate India or judge India's achievements, then you have to admit that it is the world's largest democracy and still surviving despite having all the lacunas, all the despite lacking all the preconditions I have already said. And India today stands a strong nation among the G4, G20, and the BRICS. And apart from that, a host of international institutions, international organizations are there where India is taking very remarkable, very dominant and very prominent role. Dominant as well as prominent role India is taking in international organizations. So many international organizations are there. And soon India will, we hope that soon India will be a member of NSG also. So, and a permanent member of Security Council as well. India was successfully able to conduct green revolution, white revolution, IT revolution, and pink revolution as well. At the same time, blue revolution, which made India self-sufficient in food production. What are these? Green revolution is all about being self-reliant in terms of agricultural foods or productions for the sake of development. So it is the basic area where India has already done a revolution that is called green revolution, for food grains, revolution in terms of food grains, in terms of production in agricultural sector, etc., etc. White revolution is all about producing milk and milk production. So India has already become a self-dependent nation in milk production. It is also known as what is this? It is also known as Operation Flood. As a part of Operation Flood, it is what we are calling it, that it is the white revolution. And IT revolution, you know that in the sector of science and technology, India has already achieved so much. It has already reached to moon, to Mars, to everywhere in space. So in IT revolution, India has done remarkable job. Pink revolution is also there. Pink revolution is all about revolution in the technologies used in the poultry farms and meat processing sector. So pink revolution is another very important area where India has done remarkable job. And then blue revolution. Blue revolution is all about sea water or sea based. Which we call Nil Kranti. Hope you have heard the name Nil Kranti. This is blue revolution. It refers to the time of intense growth in the worldwide aquaculture industry from mid-1960s. It has already been starting from mid-1960s. So green revolution, white revolution, pink revolution, and blue revolution. These are the areas where India has done remarkable job to be self-reliant and self-sufficient in case of food production. And India is the second largest producer of rice and wheat. That I have already talked about green revolution. It is also a leading producer of pulse vegetables and fruits as a part of green revolution. India is now turning out to be one of the most investor-friendly and business-friendly destination after the economic reforms of 1991. you know that after the globalization in India, that is new economic policy since 1991, India has become a very interesting area, investor friendly and business friendly area. And you know that India have already started FDI, foreign direct investment, and so India is going to be one of the biggest and one of the largest economies in coming years. India is now the 5th largest economy in the world at $2.98 trillion, 2.98 trillion, and hope it will by 2022 or 2023 it will become 5 trillion economy. So this is one of the major achievements that India has. And if you compare India with other countries who got independence during 1940, late 40s and early 50s, India has already become distinctly ahead in comparison to those nations. And some of those nations of our neighborhood nations are also. India will also lead the world in space research. I have already talked about that, and also hold the record for the cheapest Mars orbiter mission. It has already been done by India. It is already going on, and it is the only country that to send the largest number of satellites in a single launch. In a single launch, India has sent largest, even more than Russia and America. So this is a major, major achievement that India has already achieved. India contributes to the world's 4th largest UN peacekeeping force. This is another important achievement of India in case of military and defense. India is one of the main contributors to the UN regular budget. It is another important area. India also gives financial aid to some of the countries, neighborhood countries like Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and also some other countries of Africa as well. You have already heard the name CIAL, CIAL. This is Cochin International Airport Limited, and this is the first fully solar power airport that India has already produced. It has already won United Nations Champion of the Earth Award. That you can see it in Kerala, Kerala. Cochin International Airport, which is run by fully automatic solar power airport. This one is and very interesting. But what are the challenges ahead? In these 75 years, in these 7 decades, we have already achieved so much. I have already discussed about that, and that is really Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. But are there any challenge? Any challenge? Is India still facing any challenge? So many challenges are there. Have India overcome all the challenges in these 7 decades? No. Unemployment is very important challenge, very major challenge. Fiscal deficit, malnourishment, increasing crimes, budget constraints, and gender discriminations, inadequate infrastructure, youth empowerment. All of these are the areas. Skill development, inflation, etc. These are the main areas, big hurdles for us. And at the same time, internal and external terrorism, which is not only the problem of India. Actually, so many neighboring countries of South Asia are facing this problem. So these are the challenges that India, the national leaders have to face. And what are the challenges to India's democracy? Hope you people will be agreed with me that the first and foremost challenge to the democracy in India is the politicization of media. Politicization of media, not only politicization, at the same time committed media. If you see a media and news channel for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, you will recognize that it is supporting that particular political party, particular political party. So many political parties are there who are just using the media as their branch, as their B team or C team, you may say. So this is the major problem: politicization of media and committed media. Media has already lost its glory. India is the place. India is the most fertile ground, most breeding ground of autonomous media in 19th century. in 19th century. Amrita Bajar Patrika, Somprakash, some of the very renowned papers were there, starting from Sambad Kaumudi of Rammohun Rai. So many renowned papers, like Bengali, Hindu Patriot, like Somprakash, like Amrita Bajar Patrika of Shishir Kumar Ghosh, Arjo Darshan. These were some of the important newspapers that made India, earned India a glorious position. But what today the media is doing? Today's media is politicized, totally politicized, and this is the major problem to democracy. All medias are providing for and working for political parties, different media for different political parties. At the same time, corporatization of democracy. Democracy from an ideal, it has converted into a corporate world. Money power and muscle power. These are happening in today's democracy. Corporatization of democracy, corporate use of money, use of people are hiring professionals for their democratic campaign. Most pathetic. Actually, democracy is a form of government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But they have made it totally different. Of has become O-double-A-P-O-P. I have already said in different occasions that for the people has already become far the people. People has gone far. FAR far, not FOR for. Due to this corporatization of democracy, this is another important challenge that the India's democracy is facing in today's context. Religious fanaticism, religious fundamentalism, and communalism. A very major issue, not only in India, at the same time some other neighboring countries like Pakistan, like Bangladesh, like Myanmar. So many countries are there where religious fundamentalism has become one of the major issues against the sustainability, against the resilience of democracy. So this is very important factor, that a very important challenge that India's democracy is facing. Regionalism and narrow provincialism. India, from its very birth, from its very beginning, from the day one, India is facing this problem. That is the problem of regionalism and narrow provincialism. This is the problem. And politicization of administration. This is another important. Actually, politics and administration should be differentiated, should be bifurcated from each other, should be separated from each other. But administrators are motivated with political goal, with political agenda. So, when administration, when bureaucracy is politicized, then you can think that democracy is polluted. So this is very important and very one of the major issues, major challenges against the survival of democracy in India. Politicization of criminals and criminalization of politics. You know that so many members, even today, so many MPs and MLAs are under the charges of so many criminal cases. Criminals are getting politicized and criminalization of politics is happening. Use of money power, use of muscle power, all this has become a very dangerous and very hurdles to the existence of democracy. So we have to cope up with this and we have to overcome such problems. And lack of autonomous sphere in civil society. This is very important. Civil society has a major role in democracy. You have heard the name of Tocqueville, you have heard the name of Hope, you have heard the name of Robert Putnam. They have already discussed about the important role of civil society. Actually, civil society in democracy should take a vibrant role, should take a major role, should take a very important role, because civil society promotes political participation. Tocqueville has already argued that the main reason of the success of American democracy is what? The reason of success of American democracy is their vibrant civil society, their active civil society, and people used to have a very close associations, very close. They are closely associated with associations, with civil societal organizations and civil societal activities. They are closely associated, and that is why as a result of that, political participation, active political participation, and conscious political participation is there. Is that what have been promoted by civil society? So Tocqueville has already argued that one of the major reasons for behind the success of American democracy is the active and vibrant civil society they have. At the same time, Robert Putnam in Italian case, he has already argued that the dense network of civil societal associations, dense network of political organizations, civil societal organizations are the major reason for the promotion of democratic norms, promotion of political participation, promotion of democratic values in society. But this is very unfortunate. I have to say that civil society in India is totally politicized. We do not have any autonomous civil societal space. Even a tea shop at a chai dukan, that is also politicized in India. You can identify that tea shop is for Trinamool Congress, that tea shop is for BJP, that tea shop is for such and such political party. Actually, civil society doesn't have any autonomous space in India. So all the problems actually lies here, are lying here. The lack of autonomous sphere in civil society, and those whom we identify as the agents of civil society, as the actors of civil society, those who are the intellectuals, actually they are also politicized. They have their own political agendas, and that is the most dangerous problem to the democracy in India. We think that the intellectuals are not politicized. Intellectuals who are they are having a lighted candle on in protest of something, that they are not politicized. Actually, they are all politicized, and in some case they are showing their selective outrage. In some cases, they are very vocal, and in some cases they are not vocal. As per their political agenda, as per their political goal, they are motivated. They are moving. So this is the main problem. That lack of autonomous sphere in civil society. Gender discrimination, I have already said much about that. That gender discrimination is there from the very beginning. You have already said heard that in the initial year, 25% male were educated, where only 7.9% women were educated. And today's, if you compare it from 2021 in today's context, that you will find 76.44% male are literate, whereas 65.46% female are literate. So 1 in every 3 women is still illiterate. Think it is already early 21st century. It is already early 21st century where people have already done achieved so much in terms of science, technology, everywhere. India has already reached to moon. In fact, still 1 out of every 3 women is illiterate till today. So this is the main cause of gender discrimination in our society. At the same time, we are facing problem of gender exclusion, gender exclusion. That in the mainstream of society, in the mainstream of development, they are still exploited. They are they are not entitled to have so many rights till now. In the urban areas, this is not much reflected, but in rural areas, the problem is acute. Is that acute level? Poverty and unemployment, and so on, and so many problems are there that India is facing. So, what we can hope, our optimisms, a vibrant democracy like India will positively find a solution of such problems. And that is what the nature of India's democracy. Despite a number of anomalies, about the obstacles, about the peculiarities about which I was saying in that slide, despite having all those anomalies, democracy in India has been remarkably resilient and is still surviving. All the predictions made by Marxian school, all the predictions made by liberal school, both schools' predictions were failed. Their predictions proved wrong. Why? Because both the school, liberal school and Marxian school, claimed that India will face, the democracy in India will face imminent demise. But democracy in India not only surviving, long-term regime changes are there. Its affecting functioning is seen in terms of long-term regime change. In our West Bengal, we have seen a 34-year government fall. The fall of a 34-year government. In Tripura, you can see 25 years government. And in so many places are there, so many. So what I am, my point is that long-term regime changes are happening. And this is the success of democracy. This is the success of effective functioning of democracy. And this is the beauty of India's democracy. That even you can think, you can see that in center, where the thinkers like Rajani Kothari was saying that, he said that India is a dominant party system. While he was explaining about dominant party system, he was saying that it was Congress system. But that long-term regime already changed due to this democracy. So this is the beauty of democracy. And consolidation of democratic culture and enfranchisement of civil society and growth of political consciousness. These are the optimisms, and these are what we need to do from the very grassroots level. Grassroots level, you, me, and everyone should be conscious of that, should grow the growth of political consciousness among people, enfranchisement of civil society, being neutral, being positive is what we need. Anyway, I'm going to conclude here. Thank you for listening and thank you for being with me. Thank you, everyone. Now over to the convener.
Thank you so much, Dr. Karmakar. Thank you so much. Actually,
Have I taken excessive time?
Yes. Stop sharing first.
Okay.
Stop sharing first. Yes, that's okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, is it okay?
Have I taken excessive time? Actually, that theme is much broader, and I have
No,
so many
no,
things to
no,
say.
no.
But I have to cut. I have to cut so many issues, so many.
Actually, Dr. Karmakar, I just reminding, like, I'm recalling one muhavra from Hindi. It's this called Gagar mein Sagar. So you have done a lot, the wonderful session actually in between, like we have started at 6:10 and now it's 7, and within 50 minutes and you have completed all the sphere. Like you have started from Takshila University and all India, what is about India and Indian culture and scenario, and then Aryabhat, then starting of zero and those things, and then again you have started this journey, and in your journey you have included those parts, democratic theories and all, and then again you have mentioned the freedom fighters and in our independence time, and then again you have this was a wonderful presentation, Abhishek Karmakar, Dr. Abhishek Karmakar.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. And then and you have done like this SWOT analysis, that you have shown the strength of our country, you have shown the strength of the independence of our country, and then again you have shown the weakness as well, and then opportunities, what are the opportunities we have, and what are the threatenings even before in front of us. So very much like you have just filled the Gagar mein Sagar. You have filled that Sagar within that Gagar. Gagar means the pot, it's a gagri, and Sagar means Sagar. So you have filled the Sagar in that Gagar. So thank you so much.
Thank you for your humble words. Actually, I don't know I do deserve that or not. Actually, I couldn't.
Of course. And one thing I would like to add more, that just I have informed you one day before yesterday, and again you
and last day I was not here. Actually, I couldn't pay much time to make this. So
no issue.
Anyway,
no issue.
Yeah.
I told you that you are efficient, and
Okay.
you are always.
We should ask the students if they have any question, any query regarding my presentation, and they can ask in Bengali also. So please ask the students if they want to ask anything, if they have any question in their mind. So you people may to ask?
Is there any question? As we have completed, most of the students have left now.
Yeah.
And they were like up to 30. Now it's 19 only. So,
Okay.
if you have
So
any
still-
question, please
still-
ask.
Yeah, if any of you may ask in Bengali also, whatever question, if you want to know, whatever I have shown in my slides, you may ask anything about that, or beyond that also.
I think they don't have any question.
Okay.
Maybe can you see any question in the YouTube? Okay, then then no question is there, and I think सब कोई mesmerized हो गया.
Okay, that's too much. That's too much.
No, you have
Thank you once
completed.
again.
You have
Thank
touched
you once
all the
again.
corners. You have touched all the corners actually, before independence and all, like prehistoric and then historic era and then
No, what I wanted to
independence.
show that the incredible journey India has, the up and down from ancient glory,
Of course.
how did the glory got eroded and fall, and how India still reviving with this constitution, with this democratic polity. So
Yes, yes.
the up and down India has faced.
That's why I have mentioned that SWOT analysis you have done. So
Right.
in short, it's a SWOT, SWOT analysis, and wonderfully have done it. So and again, like as you have told that we have some opportunities, we have some threats as well. So we must remember Gandhiji as well. In today's era, we must Gandhiji. He explained so many things that which are relevant today about climate change, about swachhata, about health, all those things. So if we study Gandhiji, then we can find.
That's the question you have already laid the main point. If we study Gandhiji, actually we judge Gandhiji without studying him.
Yes.
The main problem, yeah.
So if we study Gandhiji, then from there we can get it those points that how we can like survive today in this situation, in this COVID pandemic era also. So in this COVID pandemic area also learn we can learn so many things of this pandemic era. So from this we can learn. So and Gandhiji also how we can overcome from this situation. Gandhiji also. So, and thank you so much, Dr. Karmakar, that for giving us so much your precious time. And सबसे बड़ा कि I have given you just a small time, just a day before yesterday. I informed you about the webinar, and then you just okay, I am here. So this is the wonderful thing from your side. Thank you so much for being with us. And actually, this is the third program with us. This is the third program. Before that, before today, you have given 2 more lectures with us. So thank you so
on
much.
globalization and on human rights, I think.
Human rights. Yes, you remember. Yes.
And globalization, yeah.
Yes. So of course, thanks for all. And I'm also thankful to my college authority for giving us this space, for giving us this opportunity again and again, for motivating us. I'm thankful to a resource person today. I'm thankful to all volunteers who are there and who are listening in YouTube as well. And then I'm thankful to the whole team. I'm thankful to the technical, thankful to Ms. Niholi Roy for technical support. She is streaming all the program and she's maintaining all the things, technical things. So thank you. And thank you all for being with us. And I'm also thankful, I can see Professor Atul Chandra Vishwas as well for being with us.
Let me tell you. Yes, Atul is there. Is Atul there? Let me tell you. So many students of my students are there also. Like Tapusi, Konika, yeah, Ononna. I can see Neil. And Devsena is also there.
Atul
Devsena.
just left. Atul
Yeah,
just
yeah.
left.
Okay. Devsena Korai is Dr. Devsena Korai from Motijil College, Dum. He is also there.
Okay, welcome Dr. Dev Sena for being with us.
He is also there.
Okay, so thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes, most welcome. Thank you all for being with us. So, namaskar for today.
Okay. Thank you. And
Okay.
goodbye. Have a nice day.